What's our game plan for what we're going to talk about? I guess just patch notes,
Yeah, I figured
right? And then,
I don't know if we wanted to run through the whole patch notes or just like cherry pick some interesting things and then just talk about what we did in beta,
let's see.
maybe, of what's interesting. And then we can go through the tier list a little bit and then and the calculator stuff if we want. But I mean, I don't have too much to say about like barb builds and some stuff I didn't test in beta. I don't know if I don't know if you
Hold
do.
on 1 second. I have a ton to say about Barb.
Of course.
Yeah. I could talk about anything, really.
Yeah.
That's what being American's all about.
Yeah, you guys are great at running your mouths.
I know, dude.
Okay,
It's
this
hard.
I don't
Takes a
want
lot of work and
my
effort.
I don't want my eye.
Why did Andy's Visage get buffed? Why?
This the
No, it's like the dumbest buff. It's already a really good item.
Yeah, but that fire res was really annoying. That's
I
all it
don't
was, right? Well,
actually like this. It's like the identity of the helm was it was always a good helmet,
yeah,
and it gave you -30 fire resist, and it's still good, and it was good in PD2, and it was good in vanilla.
yeah.
It didn't need a buff. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say it's fallen off a bit in PD2 just because a lot of other helms have been buffed, but isn't it still a pretty common fucking BIS item?
Yeah, I mean,
What?
I think it's
And how
pretty.
much better is that even gonna make it? How much? I don't.
Yeah,
What?
I don't know. It's
That's bizarre.
yeah, I
Dude, Radamant Sphere got nerfed for poison. The increased chance of blocking was buffed.
yeah, it's yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, Dark Abyss
Oh,
nerfed again, which makes no sense, but
well, yeah, because no one
okay,
plays
we'll
it.
probably talk about these as we go through it. Okay, where do you want to begin?
Yeah, they're kind of fun. By the way, that's now I don't even want to do the video. I just want to talk about stupid changes. Is the Vamp Guild Gaze
Oh,
cold damage? Is that going to matter for anything? Because
they're
there's some
they're doing something because there's so many little items in here that had buffs like related to elemental
cold
damage,
damage.
or just like yeah, cold damage, elemental like Branner's Star,
Uh,
1 to 300 lightning damage increased to 50 to 300. I don't know
well,
what that
enough
does.
added LE damage is
Yeah,
actually good. Because like,
yeah.
what's that one item I always talk about? I want to see more. That one rune word that gives you a bunch of elemental damage.
Famine or
Is it famine? Is it the one that gives you 3 different elemental, like a shit ton of rolls?
like Pierce, right? Elemental
No,
Pierce.
not pierce. Just damage. Just add damage.
Oh, I mean,
Ah, you know what it is.
I think
Oh
it's
fuck.
famine. I'm just
I'll
looking
find
it
it.
up.
It's not. Well, I don't. Maybe it is. I have no idea what it is
Famine is the
actually.
one that has all the Pierce, maybe. Okay, what's grief? No,
Not
I think
grief.
it's famine.
I think it's
But
destruction.
no, famine. Famine adds 125 to 250
It is
fire
famine.
damage, adds 101 to 275 lightning damage, adds
Oh,
100
okay.
to
It does give you
225
pierce
cold,
too.
and it
Yeah,
gives you
dude, this thing
pierce.
seems sick.
Yeah, and it does pierce. So it does a little bit of
Yeah.
everything.
Maybe they do have a plan later on to make elemental add damage better.
Yeah, maybe.
Hmm. That's a lot of on-striking procs on destruction.
Destruction's wild. Have you seen those like whirlwind barbs that dual destruction?
Oh, is it actually cool?
Yeah, they should just like I've seen that. Yeah, or you do one plus a phoenix and you like leap around, and leap just constantly procs because it always
Procs
hits
everything. Yes,
because
yeah,
it
dude.
doesn't do a hit check. So it just procs like every time, and you just leap around and just have way too many projectiles. Hope for the best.
Sounds like everything a barb does.
Yeah,
All
pretty
right,
much.
all right, let's do it. Or else we're gonna get distracted just talking about nothing, which is what we're gonna do in the podcast anyways.
Yeah, we have no
So
plan.
I
So
guess we'll, yeah, well, here's the plan. We'll go through patch notes first, then overall feelings of Necromancer, or do you want to touch on the tier list today, or do you want to do that later?
let's pin it for now. Like unless we speed through everything, but I think tier list
All
next
right.
time.
Okay,
So,
tier list last.
yeah.
There is one thing I want to do with it, and maybe we could do it on the video, is because a lot of people, someone even posted in my comments because they're like, I'm going to run Teeth. And I said, Teeth is a really good starter because it
Mhm.
is. It's
Yeah.
just, you put everything into bone spells, you're not going to go wrong. I think Corpse Explosion is better. So if you find good Corpse Explosion gear, run it. And he's like, oh, oh, DH said that Corpse Explosion is an S plus build, so you're right. I'm gonna run that. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's right on one thing. But yeah, so I think we should just maybe touch on it real quickly so people don't do stupid shit.
Yeah, maybe we should at least just go to the Necromancer section and then
Yeah.
kind of go through like if what he has as the moment makes sense or not.
Revives greater than Skellies for dungeon? Even I wouldn't say that, and I love revives. Are revives that good in dungeons because of crushing blow? I mean, I guess I haven't tried it
Yeah,
since then.
they used to be super OP for it. Then they were turned like I mean back when the enchant revives was like the best way to clear a
Oh, that
dungeon.
build.
Yeah.
Right.
So he
Okay.
might still be on that. Otherwise, I think revives are the best tank in
Sure, but
dungeon. But
you're not gonna do damage.
if you want to clear it, then you go mages. You do Grimm's mages.
Crushing blow is nerfed by physical resistance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you can get enough physical pierce. I don't know. All right, yeah, let's do it and go through the calculator real quickly. Ah, we can do it. Come on, start it.
All
I'm
right.
confident.
Let's go. It's already
Let's
recording.
go.
So,
Oh shit. Hi, this is. Oh, okay, start over. Ah, I'm stressed out. Wheat Solo, aka the Skeleton King.
and it's Top Woog here, the brains of the bunch actually. So,
Oh
luckily I'm on
man.
this one, not just a wheat solo.
Well,
Solo. That's when the problem comes when he sticks to his name and he's solo on a project. These are the ones that get the views.
wow. That was the roughest burn I'd ever heard. And you know what? The only reason I'm going to give you the brains is because if you look at our two bodies, one of us has got gains and one of us is a twink. So there. All right.
All right.
So we're going to start off with patch notes. Upwood, why don't you kind of go through it mostly because you probably know more about the patch notes affecting things, and then I'll chime in if I feel like I
Yeah.
want to say something.
I opened the Word document first. That's the one we're showing here. Then I'll do the Discord ones after. So, as you know, these
Okay.
are still tentative. So we're getting them in like patches, like smaller patches through closed beta. So we'll kind of touch them as they go. I think the first one to talk about, which you might have something to say actually, is about these corrupted zones. I don't know how much you played around with it, but it's really cool that when you enter a game now, once you've completed Hell and Bale, when you enter a game, it'll say which zone is corrupted in LOD. And if you go to that zone, there's an increased chance of WSS drops. And they also have an area level of 85, so any zone that's been corrupted, like Den of Evil, it'll say Den of Evil, and if you go into Den of Evil is now in a level 85 zone, so you can find any item. Plus, it has a higher chance to drop WSS. That zone stays in that game for 15 minutes, or until you clear it, but it stays on the GS for 15 minutes, and every 15 minutes it switches to a new zone. So you can kind of farm them
Yeah.
back to back if you just keep switching and you have a good high speed character, I'd say.
I actually think corrupted zones make more sense for the Diablo 2 universe than mapping. Mapping to me feels like something people did to D2 just because they did it in D3. And although D3 it kind of made sense, in Diablo 2, if you destroy the World Stone, part of the problem is the World Stone is destroyed, so it kind of makes sense that the World Stone being destroyed spreaded corruption into random areas. So I actually think thematically it's perfect. And my only problem with it is there's like one guaranteed class that will run these, and that's Sork.
Mm.
And then like maybe Necromancer, maybe a Wind Druid.
Yeah, Wind
And
Druid's
even
huge.
then, like you start to drop off pretty quick because even a Wind Druid is going to be way slower than a Sork. But yeah, I think they might do it.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird too because there's like a lot of dispute in the beta chats as well because like if you get Den of Evil for example, like that's a pretty crappy repeat farm. I mean, the den's pretty easy to find, so that's kind of good. But if you compare that to like cows or like Talrash's tomb, like all tombs get the corrupted zone, so you can farm like all 8 of those in one game. So that's like way more efficient than leaving. If it was like Frozen Tundra or something, for example, like that's not the greatest. So it's not the same every time, but yeah, I think it's going to be high mobility champions that are going to do it. So yeah, like you said, Sorks, Necro Druids. But I do think it kind of opens up a little bit more, like those first week when like people are a little bit. I think you should go to maps right away, but not everyone does. But at least this gives another way to make some currency or progress in your build.
Well, shards
Yeah,
are really good early on, even though
yeah,
they're not worth a lot. They're just hard to come by,
yeah,
and so at least you can corrupt everything you want to, which is always just fun. And so, I think a problem early on is even if you get rich later on, you never have enough shards to corrupt all the gear you want. So that is cool.
yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely in the right direction. I like that one.
By the
Then
way, what is the best element for Tall Rasha tomb farming? Because I don't know that.
um
Lightning, I'm assuming.
probably I actually don't
I think
know
lightning's
that.
probably just the best LOD element besides poison, basically.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. So if we do PD2 zones, we can actually do this right now. So if we go to
Uh,
PD2 zones, and then we go to where are we here? Talrash's chamber, Talrash's tomb. Oh, it doesn't show in this spot. I have to immunities down here. Um, oh, it's not an eye level 85, so I'm not gonna see. Damn, it's at 82.
I would assume lightning or poison is best, but it is an Act 2 thing, so maybe
Yeah,
it's not poison, but I can't imagine it's fire, because fire just has very little areas that are good for it. Maybe it's
yeah,
cold for all we know. Cold's pretty good in Act 2.
yeah. I think it might be. Um, I would say
Because
light.
actually that sounds kind of broken, because the tombs are pretty good density, and there
Yeah,
are 8 of them.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
keep your eye out on that.
yeah. That one definitely.
Hey, I have a question actually.
Yep.
So, it's tied to the game server and then it will reset. But if you open a game and you're slow early on, it's not like the game is going to lose the corruption. So you can spend as long as you want clearing those tombs.
Yeah, your 3 hour,
Wow.
your max 3 hour game, let's say,
Right.
has
Well, the
that
game
corrupt.
server will eventually
Yeah,
reset.
has
Right, and it'll
yeah,
it'll kick you out.
yeah. But
Hmm.
you in your game have that corrupted zone for that game creation.
And I would say this: if anybody ever comes across tombs being corrupted, you get out of your current game before it resets. Open up a game in tombs because unless you suck for farming tombs, that
Yeah,
sounds like a pretty good thing to do with your time.
yeah, exactly. And there's actually a post
Yeah.
that Canite posted somewhere. I don't have it
Yeah.
on me right now, but he was talking about like what zones mean because like some areas like um, I'm trying to think of a good example, but
Oh,
it,
like because it might be the sub dungeon in the zone. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly. It'll include the zone plus the sub dungeons kind of thing. So like there's you probably have to study it a little bit. But
Study.
I mean,
I'm not playing Diablo 2 to
yeah,
study.
or just wing it. I mean, like I said, if you're
Yeah.
just mapping and you see a good zone, you should just do it after your map. Like it's
All
pretty
right.
free. Okay, next one, big one that I'll jump to is the crushing blow. So it's been reworked now to work at full value against the regular monsters and regular bosses. But prime evils, and prime evils include, all map bosses, act bosses, Ubers, and Uber bosses. They will have an aggressive diminishing return, is what it says, but it'll
But
still
it
work.
will work all the way to 0%. So Crushing Blow is not just a dead value. It'll
C-
always do some damage.
Correct, but I did see the one video of the
Yeah.
guy that put smite with like zero damage. Like he gave his smite basically zero damage and a 100% crushing
Mm.
blow, and he was on Diablo in Act 4 for like over 8 minutes and wasn't even close to killing him. So
Oh,
like,
so it gets really
yeah,
small. Wait, well, how low is Diablo's health at that point?
like after it passed like the normal crushing blow, like the
It
normal like
gets pretty bad.
65%, it just it gets brutal. So it'll still do
So it's
some
still, so
damage.
it's a dead stat. So is that what you're trying to say? Just
Well, if
because
you're
it
you,
sounds like it's still a dead stat.
it is
So-
a well no, because it is a dead stat for bossing, but it doesn't have diminishing
right.
returns for mapping because all white mobs and such in maps are gonna blow up. So
No, no,
getting
no. I'm 100% behind Crushing Blow being broken. But what I mean is this: for a boss, it's still effectively a dead stat once you get them below 65%.
yeah, you can't count on it
Okay.
at all. It's useless. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't know why it just doesn't work. I guess
It,
it's easier to
it
code that
seems
way.
like it should be. Yeah. Maybe the aggressive diminishing returns could be a little less aggressive.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one, I actually did not play around with this in beta because I did not get the point of it. But this was the throwing potions. So you can now get the like throwing potions that reduce
Yeah.
the elements by like
I
10%. I think it is.
I think it's really cool because actually, if people don't know this, throwing pots are actually pretty broken in like Act 1 and Act 2 and maybe even Act 3. But like that's it. And then the other problem is even if they do this thing where throwing pots are actually valuable all the way through the game, you cannot take off a weapon slot for your pot. It's never going to be worth it, barring maybe very early group mapping. So it's
Right.
like they need to make a new way to activate that pot besides the character removing their weapon because you just lose too much stats.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because even weapon swapping,
Yeah.
it's just not great.
Yeah, it'd be rough. Like again, maybe really early on for group mapping, it would be worth it for your support character to run a pot, but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The next one is a change designed just for me, I think, which is the ability to lock your equipment in charm slots, so I cannot throw my
that's cool.
charms in the middle
Yes.
of declone fights.
No, that's actually sick. It happens.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay,
and the worst of us.
yeah, yeah, that's also me. So
Yeah.
D2GL has been updated, such as nicer versions, I think, which
Mhm.
cool stuff. New help screen, I think that's not too cool. The next one I'll talk about is the belt. I don't know if you played, if you enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. So the belt now shows how many pots you have left in each slot. I think,
Actually, it is kind of
yeah,
cool. I think it's a little too much visual clutter,
hmm
but I think if you get once you get used to it, it's kind of nice just to know how many pots you have left. Actually.
yeah, I think so. Maps, uh, unique maps reduced by 40% because they were dropping like crazy before, so
Yeah.
that's good. I don't think anything else. I mean, oh, I guess the next ones, the Horadric scarabs, sorry, have been increased the drop rate, which is good
Yeah.
because there wasn't that many T4s you could actually run, so that's kind of nice that you can do a bit more of them. Okay, the next is the declone and Rathma changes. We had um, like difficulty 0, then difficulty 1, all the way up to 8
Mhm.
in season 7, which was nonsense. So now it's 3 tiers. Tier 1 is the easy mode, which is D0 from before, which is super easy. It can drop an Annie, costs just the materials. Tier 2 is the materials again. You have to add a rune between Vex and Sur. Any rune between Vex and Sur, it's all the same. And you combine that together, and then you can drop the Annie plus a chance to drop a special item. That difficulty is the same as like Season 6 normal difficulty or Season 7 Vex. And then Tier 3 is the same, but the rune's updated to Burr to Zod. And now it is like Zod difficulty or Cham Zod difficulty from last season. And it has a better chance of dropping an item. And this is the only difficulty that has an aura unlocked on it currently, according to the patch notes. So before, people used to rush the Vex aura or the regular aura for Declone and Wrathma, and you get that day 2, day 1. But now it's only tier 3 will have an aura attached to it.
And one of the problems with having 8 difficulties is I think it probably played into them not being able to properly balance Rathma. So
Mm.
hopefully Rathma is fixed because last season the damage was way too low for most abilities. Like
Yeah,
most abilities.
yeah,
Well, at least most of Rathma's abilities. Most of the other damage was the
yeah.
same.
I can
Yeah.
slightly confirm that I know it's going to be much better. I had like a a many line convo with Ganite of like my reports of all the issues I had in Rathma and Declo and all the bugs I found and stuff, and he like responded to all of them
Wow.
and
Very
addressed them.
important person.
No, not me.
Wow. It's a
I'm just
private
saying.
combo.
I'm just saying. He acknowledged that they're going to be fixed, so I think.
I don't think he's ever acknowledged I exist.
Well, I think it's because I just kept DMing him every week. Like, this is the bug. This is the bug. This is the.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
like,
think I could DM him. He probably blocked me, dude.
he's like, oh, I gotta. He's like, I gotta shut this guy up. All right.
Yeah, yeah, really.
Yeah.
I am
No.
pretty annoying.
So I think it's really. I don't like the rune sync, but we'll get past that. What my first problem is um, the auras only being the hardest difficulty, I think is, pretty interesting as like declone farmers, Rathma farmers, like, okay, yeah, there's like a challenge to it. However, I do think it means that a majority of the population are kind of cut out from getting it because the Vex difficulty before or the regular difficulty, it was always like a day 2 or 3 thing, and I honestly don't think there was a skill competition really. Like there's if you go super budget, there's a certain skill aspect you have to it, but really anybody can go in and it was doable. The Zod or tier 3 difficulty is extremely hard,
Yeah,
and
but
yeah,
hold on. Okay, okay. I know level 8 declone was that hard, and level 8 Rathma should be a lot harder. But when you tell me there's not a skill difficulty to doing the Vex Rush, there is. Yes, you could argue the Vex Rush is more of a time sink
yeah,
than actually a skill check, but I'm not sure that's a problem for auras because usually players who are good also play the game a lot. Although, I mean, how many bad players do you think would time sync for a Vex Rush aura?
Yeah, no,
Do you really think that's enough people?
no, but I guess what I would want to say is that I think every season, like even for Necromancer, which is not the greatest example, but almost every season there was at least one new person getting an aura for Vex, Declone or Rathma, like a name I had not seen before. When it comes to I don't think people are going to be able to practice enough to just jump into Zod to get it before somebody that's done it before.
I'll
Yeah,
give you this then. I do think less difficulties is good because scaling it eight
absolutely.
times
Yeah,
or even nine times was retarded. But the Zod declone, we don't know how hard the Zod Rathma is going to be for sure. We
yeah,
don't. Zod declone did look pretty rough for a necromancer.
yeah. I don't think I haven't heard of anyone else that's done it, and I've only done it pluggy, and that was terrible. And e-
Yeah, it's
even
the
the
extra latency and
yeah,
desync. It would be a rough
yeah.
fight, man.
What Senpai said on somebody's stream because somebody clipped it, he said that the fight is going to be a little bit easier than Zod
Okay, okay,
because even
yeah.
Zod Declone, I think I only know like 30, 20, 30 people max that have actually completed it on any class. Like
Hmm.
people have tried it and it's hard. Like so,
I think they should make it like what was the popular difficulty like Jaw? Wasn't that like pretty
yeah,
doable?
everyone did Jaw pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
that, to me
All
that
right.
to me that'd be good. Okay, PES increased drop rate, which is good. They were hard to get. PDE has reduced the drop rate, which is pretty good because those were basically free.
Worthless. They're like an
Yeah, yeah.
That's
If
yeah.
that, I've never
If that,
bought.
yeah,
I've
exactly.
like never bought a PDE. Someone just gives it to me. Um,
Yeah.
Declone and Rathma specific uniques have increased their drops. Okay, let's go through some stuff. I'll touch quickly on the classes. So Amazon, the interesting thing I don't understand, but basically Fire Arrow has been buffed across the board with the synergies reduced, but it overall nets to a buff. Um, and
Pointless.
Cold Arrow has been nerfed. This actually happened because someone I mean, I was a little bit involved, but anyway, Cold Arrow was doing double the damage it was supposed to. So it was
Oh,
actually doing double the damage of Fire Arrow, which makes no sense because it also provides CC, right? So
has
fire
that been
should.
going on every season? So is that the reason why Cold Arrow always seemed to outperform itself?
There was like Freezing Arrow, which is always just really good, but then Cold Arrow people weren't
Oh, it
using
was
as
just
much.
specifically Cold
Yeah,
Arrow. I
yeah,
see. Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And basically, what happened is when they changed the values, instead of being half weapon value to three-quarters weapon value in the conversion, they didn't adjust any of the numbers inside, so it was basically doubling its overall damage.
Cool.
So, anyway,
I like
cool.
it.
Magic Arrow saw a little bit of a nerf, but then that was fixed later, so I won't touch on that one. They buffed Jab
I
and
want to talk about Magic Arrow real quickly. Magic Arrow is busted. For any
yeah,
Zon out there who wants to play a budget Zon, go
yeah,
Magic Arrow. And then for anybody who's not a Zon and wants to benefit from how busted Magic Arrow is, get an Act 1 physical merc.
yeah,
Put a Harmony on her, put a Hustle on her. She still does insane damage. Okay, move on.
100%.
Okay, 100%.
Yeah, Jab, and Javelin and Spear Mastery, they're just trying to make the melee zones work better. We'll see how that turns out.
Jab is already good.
Yeah. A Cobra Strike, huge buff, but not enough. So they increased the synergies from 14% to
Yeah.
20%. Sounds insane. It only has one synergy, so not that crazy. Um, it's
I
it
say nerf it more.
it's doable. Let's say it works in maps, but it's not great. Dragon Claw. So
Yeah.
this one is interesting because now it procs all the built-up charges on both weapons attack. So you have to wear two claws to use Dragon Claw. So if you use that finisher now, it procs each of the charges twice. Which
That seems really good.
on paper is really good. The issue is like not quite, but almost half the charges have next hit delay. So it procs them immediately, and
Oh, so it's
yeah,
actually it actually does nothing then.
for half of them, yeah. So like if you know which ones to use, you can do double damage. But if you pick the wrong ones, then you're just gonna block your own
That
damage.
sounds like a nightmare for most assassins to deal with. Okay,
Yep,
so nice.
yep. Blade Sentinel, we'll talk about it after, but Blade Sentinel got a big buff, and it's actually really good now. But the later patches have the more details, so we'll jump to that. Weapon block we'll talk about later as well, because it got nerfed and buffed and nerfed. Venom now a little bit of buff, nothing crazy. We'll jump through that. Barbarian, I don't think there's anything interesting in Barb. The only interesting thing they have was double throw, which the max number of bounces increased from 5 to 7. So two more bounces is actually a lot at their attack speed. So I have
Let's
seen,
be honest, throw barb was always good,
yeah,
even after all the nerfs, as long as you got those really insane ED rolls on your crafts.
yeah, exactly. So I think
Hmm.
it's going to be, people have been like hyped it up. They're quite happy with it.
Hmm.
Um, Druid, Fury,
By the way, though, still generally an in-game build.
yes, yeah, you can't really go
Yes.
into it right away. It's kind of a,
Yeah.
it's like the multi-shot Zon of builds. You kind of go
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
it once you have money.
Once you have the good weapon,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, exactly. Fury Druid was kind of nerfed across the board. Its damage reduced from 14% to 10%. Feral Rage was also nerfed. Werewolf
Is
was
that for
also
bossing specifically?
because of bossing.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
yeah. And then Werewolf was nerfed. The Bear was buffed, but just as defense values. Rabies was nerfed. Lycanthropy was nerfed, but not really. It looks bad because max health per level bonus reduced from 10% to 2%, but really it just starts off at 2% instead of 10%, but the per level is the same right now. So after level like 20, it makes no difference.
Yeah, exactly. And also defense is really, really important for any melee build because you don't inherit any sort of hit recovery animations. So I
Yeah,
think Bear actually might be a really good mapper next season. If you can get a stone early, you won't get hit. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah. I've been playing around a lot with the bear pallies and bears in general, and they're going to be insane, I think. So,
Yeah.
one buff I have no idea where it came from was the wind druid. So Twister and Tornado both got increased by two percent on their synergies, which,
I don't understand. Twister was already
yeah,
good.
Wind Druid was insane already. Best LOD clear, and now it's even more
Well,
so
it's
the
not the
best.
best lot player. It's Sork.
No, like honestly, like if you want to speed farm like week one LOD, all the guys I've talked to have said Wind is like the
Okay, well,
best. Yeah,
budget. But I mean,
yeah.
end game, you can
End
never
game,
beat
yeah,
a Sork because
yeah,
they have teleport.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
You've
Okay,
yeah,
I got it.
Gus has a fixed
Yeah,
cooldown.
cooldown of 0.5 seconds at the lowest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Necro, the best class. So teeth, um, teeth scaling got reduced a little bit. And its synergies reduced by 1%. I don't think it's enough to make a difference. Like I think you'll see a stat sheet difference, but in terms of it taking like 2 waves versus now 3, I don't think it does. I think it's still the same number of waves. From my beta testing, I think it's going to be the same.
I think it's a little worse early on,
Yeah,
and then the better your gear gets, the less you're going to
yeah,
notice it being different from previous seasons. To almost no difference. Exactly.
yeah. And the
It
bone,
basically always took 2 casts to kill a T1 pack with teeth, and that's not going to be different.
yeah, exactly. So I think it's about the same. I was
Yeah.
excited for Bone Spear increasing from 10% to 14% synergies because that's actually good,
Yeah.
but Bone Spear sucks.
Bone
It,
Spear
it's
sucks.
shit, so that doesn't really work. Poison strike buffs makes no sense to me. Don't know what it's doing for anybody. The synergies are still
Uh,
stupid, but that's me.
Poison Strike will even be better to clear hell with,
Yep.
and it's pretty good at it. I wouldn't say it's fast, but it is fun, different.
Yeah, I mean, I still say if you're going to do poison from the get-go, like I did the one season, just do poison strike, then do poison strike revives, and then eventually transition to desecrate revives, then switch to Pinova. And
Yeah,
it's fine.
yeah,
It
yeah.
works. Pinova buffs, crazy that we actually saw that. I thought we would never see this in the history of my time at PT2, but here we are. We saw like 6 seasons in a row of nerfs, and now we have a buff. So
it's actually it's actually funny because it's been nerfed every season.
yeah,
Maybe not damage every time, but something's been nerfed from Poison Nova, and I don't think it's been buffed ever. Was
no,
there one season it got buffed?
no,
I don't
no.
think so.
It was 6 in a
I think the
row.
only thing that changed is technically they made Cage of the Unsullied, which was an indirect buff to Poison
Yeah.
Nova, to be
Okay.
honest. But besides
Yeah.
that,
And one season when they changed the elemental pierce to actually go below 0. They
oh,
yeah,
that was one of the problems that made Poison Nova
yeah,
as good as it was,
yeah.
and then it took us like 2 seasons to catch up to that
Yeah,
change.
yeah. So he did
That
nerf
was
all the
that.
values to do that, but
Yeah,
then we didn't really understand it. We just thought it was a straight nerf, but we got there in
yeah.
the
No,
end.
it actually got better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is like a 16% increase based on what I've seen at all gear levels. So
And that's insane. That's
that's
a
a
lot of damage. It's very good budget. It's very good mid game, and it's very good in game. It's gonna be the best T3 mapper again, no doubt about it. It'll probably be the best T1 mapper, barring a Sork with very, very good gear. But even then, usually Sorks were a little slower than Poison Nova. But that'll be it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, Desecrate. So Desecrate was had some early scaling reduced, late scaling increased. It turns out at level 31 it's stronger than it was before. Previous to level 31 it's weaker. So take that as it is.
That's
And
almost no effect because you can chop a +5 wand and you'll
yeah,
get +5 spells from the rest of your gear.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's straight up just going to be better for things like bossing. So
Yeah.
sweet. Um, they did get rid of that clutter with the Desecrates. The corpses disappear after it.
Yes. Yes, it's actually even good for summoning because honestly, if you ever need to cast enough Desecrate pools to find the one you're looking for, you don't need to run to a new area. You can just stay in the one you're at and they'll
Yeah,
start to disappear. So it's actually just better for everything.
yeah. So this is a really good change. I like the Desecrate
Yeah.
one. CE was buffed across the board. Scaling increased, synergies
Oh,
increased,
you know
radius
what? One
increased. Yeah,
caveat. I'm sorry, I do want to include this.
yeah,
There was one purpose of Desecrate lasting forever that used to exist. It was for Ubers, not really for declone, although I'm sure it had some effect, but the clutter got so bad it caused too much desync, so it's
yeah,
a buff. In Ubers, it was nice to have a Desecrate set up somewhere,
yeah.
and you can't do that anymore, but that's not that big.
Yeah,
But
it's
that's the one.
that is a good point because if you
Yeah.
put a Desecrate wand on, then you would just spam it and then not have to worry
Yeah, it
about
had an
re-equipping.
area.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
agree. Okay, CE, like I said, nerfed. I mean, buffed across the board. In my testing, it is stronger than the season 3, season 4 Trang's Necro CE. The caveat is the range is shorter, but you
I
have
have
more
no idea
damage.
what you're. I have you. You're so insane, dude. You're so nuts.
No, it is more. It is literally more
It's
damage.
yeah, but it doesn't. But the radius is still what, like 3 yards smaller or something? It was like
Two.
14.6. I swear. No, it was 14 something. It wasn't just. Was it
Yeah.
just 14? I don't believe it.
Well, on the tooltip it's 14, but it was probably 14 point. Um,
Something. Yeah.
yeah, we can pull. I mean, Renato can come in whenever he wants. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
but okay.
If you want
Yes,
to.
it is. But it depends on the map you're playing. Like if you're playing River, if you're playing Tombs, it doesn't make a difference. If you're playing like Canyon, then yeah, it's going to be a bit worse because the radius matters.
Only thing I'm telling Renato is I kind of want to see if we can finish this in 18 minutes. God, we're so stupid, dude. Can we let's go? Let's move forward. I
Okay.
think Corpse Explosion is strictly worse,
Yeah.
but it is a viable starter, and it's a I wouldn't call it viable in game. It's too small of a radius, but
No.
you can't play it all the way to in game.
I would say me and Fuzzy were playing a lot in beta, and you can get some pretty sick times. It is really good.
Yeah, wouldn't you
But
say it's still worse than DP though?
um,
You think it's close?
it's close. Like it's gonna cost you more to do it, so it's hard to say. But
Oh yeah, because you need to get all the facets.
yeah, but it is
Good point.
it's pretty good. Um, it doesn't have to say okay. Paladins. I don't want to go too much through everything. Now the
Yeah.
biggest changes for me are they added base attack rating 50% and attack rating per level on all the auras of Sanctuary, Holy Fire, Holy Shock, Holy Freeze. Anyone watched my crazy videos of all the bear pallies? This is huge because now you have AR built into the skill, so you don't need to do any crazy pre-buffing. And then Holy Shock was also buffed, crazy. And then the new thing, they have that Holy Sword ability. I have not seen this useful yet, but let's wait and see. But basically, it's claw block, but with a two-handed sword. So,
Yeah, that's a good enough way to describe it. I don't think there's much of a difference to it.
yeah. Okay, Sork really saw nothing.
Oh,
Um,
there is one difference. In general, two claws is still better than one sword, but that would be the one
yeah,
difference. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I guess everyone saw that message, but Ronaldo says hi. So, okay. Um,
Corrado says hi.
Sork had the most boring. I'd be so sad if I was a Sork. There's no change. Like,
Wow, no change at all.
well, energy
That's kind
sheet,
of
like cap increased on energy shield, ice barrage radius, explosion radius increased by zero point 0.6, lightning mastery reduced, thunderstorm increased by 2%, telekinesis 1%.
wee.
That's it.
All right, exciting.
Yeah. There's that new spear that has energy shield when equipped.
That's
Uh,
kind of cool.
cool. Let's see how it works. The issue is you don't have telekinesis, and telekinesis is what reduces the amount of damage you actually get as a synergy to how much it actually hits your energy. So I don't know if it's actually useful or not on anyone but a Sork.
Mm.
Hustle. So hustle gives you burst of speed. Really good
Mm.
early game weapon to, sorry, armor to hit your breakpoints on things like melee classes. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Innocence. I think this is the bane of the beta.
Wait, burst of speed also increases IAS, isn't that true?
Burst of
Oh.
speed. It's gonna give you EIAS, so like weapon IS. So it's like fanaticism. And it's hard mode.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. I
yeah,
forgot about that. Cause I was only thinking about it for a Necromancer, but I
yeah,
used to play an Assassin
yeah.
all those years ago, and it actually does help that too. Yeah, so that's actually busted. That's
Yeah,
busted, that
so
armor.
like this armor will let you hit like 3 FPA or 4 FPA on like slower weapons easier now. You don't need to hit that 6
Yeah.
socket one, so that's kind of cool. Innocence, this is like the bane of beta, as I said. It's causing so much grief, but basically it gives you Blade Shield. And Blade Shield
Yeah.
can was changed to have striking effects now, so all your procs proc when you're wearing this armor.
Mhm.
So
Way too much time in beta was spent testing bad builds with this and reasonable builds with this.
yeah,
Nothing I saw that was broken, and yet it still got nerfed.
yeah. Yeah, the only thing was the freezing was kind of weird. If you put a jam in your weapon to freeze
Oh, I heard
targets,
someone talking
yeah,
about that.
you could
It,
literally
it
just
was like it froze them even worse than normal,
yeah.
right? Wasn't that the problem with it?
Well, because it
Yeah.
happens every like 20 f frames per attack, so it's just like less than every second. It's freezing the targets, and they're frozen for longer than a second. So like
Right.
it's just they're just never gonna hit you.
So
So
when people were complaining about Necros being immune with bone armor, which I don't think was true, but it was kind of a useful interaction.
yeah,
Like this basically made you invulnerable to damage. Well, at
yeah,
least in melee radius.
yeah. So now it has an AR hit check on it, so
Yeah.
it is what it is. Okay, beta patch notes. I'm just gonna jump to the most recent one probably because I think nothing else is too crazy interesting.
I actually want to go through one thing.
Uh,
You guys may have noticed that I was talking about a lot of random items in my videos that are kind of fun that you can find early on or even use for, maybe a week at tops, to be quite frank, if you play a lot. And there's some other changes that are going to be coming to early items and in-game items or week one items. So I would actually check the wiki and just go through items and see if there's something you might find cool. So you don't just throw stuff away because you think it's bad, and actually right now it's kind of useful. And like for instance, Black Oak Shield can give you Shiver armor. That's actually pretty
yeah,
good early on. And another change that I think is stupid, but like Andy's Visage got buffed. I don't know, that's just an in-game item. But yeah, so there's a lot of Death's Web got buffed. Suicide Branch got buffed, which is actually kind of a budget thing. So
yeah.
if you find a Suicide Branch, I'd actually keep it. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of fun items that got changed like that.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely give it a read because there's a whole
Yeah.
bunch. Yeah, for sure. Trying to think what else was crazy. No, I mean there's just a
Rune
lot.
Master buff.
Yeah, yeah, Rune Master. I mean
It actually is. It's a good item.
yeah, the one that was kind of the Bull Kathos one. The set piece now gives you plus 30 attack speed. Like
Yeah.
that's actually really good for hitting a better frame on your
By the way, you know how I was all high on Sazabi?
yeah
Well, it was buffed too.
yeah
Now it gives you
buffed
10 to 14 life after each kill, so the roll's easier to get. And actually, 14 life after each kill is kind of insane.
yeah that's kind of sweet
It
yeah
is. Yeah. Orphan's Call set buffed. Like, yeah, there's a lot of things
yeah
like that. But yeah, let's move more to the end.
okay more towards the end stuff so I'm gonna skip okay one I will talk about early so I don't skip it. This isn't quite working the way I expected to yet, but one of the first bug fixes was he lowered the threat level of Amazon decoys. I have not seen if this is working correctly or not, but anyone who's seen this, and as you probably have a lot to say of this, Wade, but like decoys, you can just never get hit if you were spamming them ahead of you. They've reduced that threat level to be the same as a mercenary now. I just don't know if it's working as intended. There's a bit of
I don't know
yeah.
who the fuck is playing the game like that because that sounds slow and pointless.
The
I'm sorry, I don't care.
the only thing I will
What is it?
I will say is that this is I think directly at because someone posted a naked um, Trist video. They love like no items at all and can do it with
So,
you. Well, it just means that you can
look,
do Trist day one. naked, which
Yeah, but we are. Wait, they're still going to be able to do Triss day one naked. Don't you think so?
if it's working as intended, not really,
Bubbles,
because right,
bubbles.
yeah, because right now you can throw the um, like pull the aggro on the other side of you, so it's always forcing away from you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see.
All right. So maybe it'll make it a little bit harder for Bubbles to do naked Tristram,
Yeah,
but for everybody who actually plays the game, I don't think it's much of a difference.
yeah. I don't think so.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
That
First thing.
sounds slow.
Yeah.
Who cares about things that are slow and safe, dude? I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my point. Whatever.
First big change from yesterday's was Fist of Fire for Assassin. I tested this, and this is actually really good now. Fist of Fire was like a useless ability on Assassins. Now it actually works, so you can do fire scaling martial arts. It works. It's kind of cool. Jumping ahead, Fire
How big
Golem.
is the Fire Nova, actually?
The Fire Nova that comes out, the second charge, it's actually really big, and there's a intended bug that Fire Nova carries your physical damage. So if you have any ED, damage on dead, all that, it
Hey, that
carries that.
actually sounds good then.
So
The meteor sounds pointless,
yeah,
and the first one doesn't sound that good, but that sounds kind of
yeah,
cool.
and what you could do if it worked correctly is that you could get the second charge of the Nova and then use that Dragon Claw ability we were talking about before and proc it
Right.
twice, and you'll just blow people up. But I think it has next hit delay, so not really. Next
Yeah, but
change,
you could go one hand with a shield, and there's great fire shields.
yeah, Phoenix. I mean, Phoenix is insane.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Phoenix gives you ED and Pierce. So
And Pierce. And Redemption.
yeah, so you're procking. It's just insane. It's actually really good. So
Yeah.
if someone's looking for something, that's a cool one. Fire golems, that was a big change. So they say
What?
fire golems were dealing too much damage early, so they've moved the
Oh,
damage to
okay.
higher levels and reduced the damage at lower levels. That's
So Fire Golems are still going to be the fastest nightmare clear in the game, other than a sword just teleporting through, because you can't compete with that. But for any class that just actually has to kill something, Fire Golems can one-shot a lot of shit, even just one of them in Nightmare just running past.
mhm.
And that's still going to happen. It's not going to be that much worse. Uh, but then basically you're gonna see it affect most, not even budget, but you're gonna see it affect builds that went like 2020 Fire Golem and then tried to go into revives, mages, or more curses, or even the random 21 Fire Golem, which you would kind of throw into other builds. Those are basically, I wouldn't call them dead, but they're significantly weaker to the point of there's probably a better option. So
Yeah,
really what it affects is Fire Golem being included in other builds.
yeah, exactly. I did some tests for someone in my calculator, which I will post for people, but like the 2020 build is seeing like with he gave me his values, his mastery, so take it as you will, was like an 8, almost 9% nerf. And your like 21 build, or you're going to see around a 7 to 9% nerf on all those lower levels. So it's not crazy. It's less than 10%, but it's not great. It's not,
Yeah, but when you're talking
yeah,
about 10% of
times five. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It makes. I mean, times five overall. So it does make a difference. And the issue I have is I don't like the wording. I'm fine
it's
with it, but the wording is it's actually nerfed at all levels, and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
it
Yeah,
is, but
yeah,
it's it is 10% times 5,
yeah.
literally. So it's a 50% nerf.
Well,
It is, right? Unless I'm crazy. If you have
no,
5 golems ticking at 10% weaker each and you times that number,
no,
it's
but
going to
but
be
you have to remind you take the initial 90 as well, and you're timesing that, so you're
oh,
gonna have
5 times
50
9 is
out of yeah,
45, 5 times 10
yeah,
is 50. You
yeah.
know what? Uh, America's good at math, and I was doing that to make Topwood feel better about himself because I understand how math works. It was my original major 20 years ago or whatever that was. That was dumb. All right, don't. Can we edit this out?
Yeah, we'll edit.
That was really stupid. Okay, move on.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
move
move
on.
on. Anyway, they increase the synergies. Okay, the punch is straight up more damage. The aura is straight up a nerf on
Oh,
all
the
levels.
punch actually, the punch is significant for single target, so
Yeah,
that's not nothing. But
yeah,
usually you're using fire golems for AOE. But
yeah.
yeah,
Fuck, I need to mute this Discord or whatever.
I know that they're going off right now.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of that. So Fire Golem kind of sucked. Weapon Block and Holy Sword, they just been nerfed again, and Dodge just to get a max of 55%, but you need a lot of levels to get to
Yeah,
55%, so it's less free. Joust, um, yeah, whatever. You can reduce it below
yeah. Let's skip
1.5
this.
now.
Let's
What
skip this.
one thing I will,
I want to.
Oh,
Go ahead.
one quick one for you, 'cause I think this is interesting. Is the map health prefixes and suffixes
Yeah, I
have
saw that.
changes? I asked Canite what it means, and the biggest one to take a note of is to reduce the weight of health prefixes and suffixes by 50%. What that means is they're going to spawn 50% less likely. So very often when you were
Oh,
rolling
wait,
maps, you
why?
saw them all the
Why
time.
don't they do that with? No, but why don't they do that with open wounds, or just completely remove open wounds?
Yeah,
Does anybody ever run a map with open wounds?
yeah, no,
Anybody?
they've
No.
yeah. I don't either because it's just too risky for your merc and
Even
everything.
even if you won't die, there's a reason no one runs open wounds. It's because usually your merc is part of your build, and even if you could run the map without your merc, it's just annoying and takes longer. And I don't care if a barb won't die. Your merc is gonna die due to the open wounds, unless you continuously try to spam pot heal them, and no one does that.
Yeah, yeah. I would like
You
to.
have to spam it. It's not like once. It's like twice per open wound proc.
Yeah, I would like
Sorry.
it to be removed, like the same thing, but I'm a huge fan of this because, like, again, this is
Yeah,
another
that's cool.
Ninja
Yeah.
Pinova buff because now I have to roll less times to not get this stupid mod.
And to be honest, most builds don't like health buffs,
Yeah,
although that's not all. But
yeah,
most at least don't want too much to roll on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that, they increased the range on some bases, which is kind of good. Mostly just
That's actually
spears.
really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I like that. And then there's a new item that reduces the joust cooldown, and it's a two-handed weapon for that new
And no one
two-handed holy
cares about
sword.
that.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the it.
Go to the P Nova calculator, just show that you're gonna release it.
Yeah, I will show it. So this is the Pinova calculator. Basically, all that matters is what's on the left here, which is just the
Yeah.
red. On the right, I just put it just so you can see what the values were in season 7. It doesn't really matter for you, but basically I put in the values I had for beta. My beta damage was 16k. That would have been 13.8 in season 7. So that is significant. And if you use the
And
graph,
actually, real quickly, one of the reasons why we didn't understand P Nova got better because of the Pierce thing is we used to think you had to hit about 20,000. The reason
yeah,
you don't have to hit 20,000 is because PLR is actually reduced from the enemies based on your Pierce, so that actually means P Nova you can do less damage than you think and still kill a mob.
yeah, exactly. Like, I
Yeah.
think my end game build in season 6 was like about 16 and a half damage. So you're gonna have way more than
Oh,
that now. Yeah, yeah.
wow.
So yeah, you're gonna be able to get a lot more than that now, and which
P Nova's going to be able to run a little bit of max health again.
yeah,
That's what it is.
and you're gonna be able to drop desecrate, so you don't have to desecrate elites. And the thing is, you're gonna be able to do the speed T3s earlier. You're not gonna need the
Right.
insane gear. Plus, D-Web is better than it was. So yeah, that's so I will post this one as well. I've been waiting to
Yep.
post this in case they change any values, or so I can post it once, and that's
All
it.
right. Go
Yeah.
to Fire Golem.
Yeah.
We just talked too much.
Fire Golem, same thing. So I had my season 7 one up before. It's this is the exact same. But now I've included season 8 and a direct comparison between 7 and 8. 8, and you just put all the values in here, and it'll automatically input the values here and use the old calculations. I have a bunch of hidden cells and stuff that does it all for you. So all you have to do is input these cells here, and everything else will give you your aura
And
damage
if
and
I'm
punch damage.
correct, if I see 8.71% nerf, I would times that by 5. So that means that's nearly a 50% nerf. Is that not right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I think in this version I have something screwed up, so I'll just fix something because this is not right
Okay.
here. But I guess there's a typo in the version I'm using here. But the one I have posted will be correct.
And then let's just show his tier list, and we're gonna do this some other time. But it's by the way, it's still in work, so it's
Yeah.
not even fair to look at his tier list too much because this is just a rough draft.
Yeah, this is his rough draft. But let's just really quickly, let's just go through his
Oh
solo
God.
mapping. That's it. So the solo mapping of Necromancer.
Okay.
So he's saying Poison Nova S minus. I think that's probably fair. Um, Desecrate A, disagree hard. Desecrate is great early mapping, terrible.
I wouldn't even call it great early.
Yeah, decent to pass your time. Poison Strike A minus, disagree again. It's maybe B something, B minus.
Poison Strike is worse than
Yeah,
Desecrate.
yeah,
I'm sorry. You
it
cannot
is.
deal with the frame data of a Necromancer. It's so hard and so frustrating. You're gonna block. You're gonna need FCR. You're gonna need IAS. You're gonna need too many stats just to deal with frames. Then your frames are still bad. That's why it sucks. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, teeth
By the
being
way, the damage is insane.
yeah
I'll give it that. The damage is ludicrously high, so you can just focus on your defensive stats, but you still have the bad frames.
yeah.
Okay.
So I wouldn't do that. Teeth
Yeah.
S minus,
Yeah, sure. S
sure.
minus. I don't care.
Yeah.
It
Uh,
doesn't matter.
CE S plus. I'd say S range. It's better than teeth, but it's not the best
Yeah.
mapping build in the game. So physical
Yeah. No, Genova
skellies.
is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this should be S plus. Physical skellies, warriors plus archers, A minus.
I still never understand this. I'm gonna do summons real quickly.
Yeah.
Physical Skellies plus revives is better than just physical Skellies. He's always rated it like this, and there's no reason not to rate the revive version above it.
Mhm.
Why? Because you get Udawars and Crushing Blow is broken. It was broken last season. It was broken before that, and it's gonna be broken now. Revives plus CE is not a summoning build, but yeah, CE plus revives is good. I don't care if you put Eternity on it. Don't even read that.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you're going Corpse Explosion, you're going to run revives, and yeah, it's really nice. Okay. Mages plus elemental summons. Yeah, mages are the best summon in the game, basically, for most players. Just think about it that way. Especially with the Grimm's Burning Dead. There's no way to go wrong with mages. They're good early, they're good late. Fire Golems A, I would rate it higher than that, and I'd also rate mages higher than that. In fact, I don't understand why revive. Just don't even look at the letters. Just listen to me. Mages are the best one on this. Physical Skellies plus Revives is the next best one
Mhm.
on this. Fire Golems is probably better than Physical Skellies plus Revives, and Clay Golems is, yeah, dog shit.
Yeah. And the
There you
only
go.
one I will add to this is if we were making it, we would also include the Green Goblin one. Like I don't know what we
Oh,
call it, but the Act One Merc, and I think that's
no, no,
right
no.
up there with
It's not even a summoning build. Any build. If you are playing this game and Act 1 Physical Merc is not severely nerfed, put that on your class and you will play quicker. Why? Because every time they cast Magic Arrow, they are worth their slot. And yes, Strafe kind of sucks. Slow movement kind of useful, but usually not once your gear is good.
yeah. And I made a calculator for that. You guys should check out as well, which is you can just see how crazy the
We'll
damage
put it
gets.
too. Yeah, it
Yeah.
gets insane.
So yeah, I would agree with your.
Oh, there is one more build actually. Next season, likely the best summon build, not including just having an Act 1 Physical Merc, will be Archers, Mages, Revives again because of the Fire Golem nerf.
Yeah, if I was doing
Yeah,
summon, I would do either the Merc version or that version, and I don't think I would touch
yeah.
anything else.
Well, you could do the Mage Archer Revive version with Act 1 Physical Merc.
I played on beta, and I think that's maybe where I'd go. But the best version I tested, which probably wasn't, I didn't test enough, is I liked doing the Act One Merc fully decked out, and then Mages maxed, Archers maxed, and then just not
Not
just.
even Revives?
Well, I
Oh,
did the
so you have more points than the
yeah,
curses?
I did more points into curses, so I'd have to balance that out with enough plus skills and better gear. I could probably do
Hmm.
that. I needed a lot in Blood Warp because of how shitty beta and slams are for faster cast rate and such.
Oh,
So
okay.
there might have been a way I could have got more revives, but I dropped warriors entirely, just one point them, and just did pure range. But I think I would probably get some revives, 10 curse mastery, amp decrep, and then run
All
those
right.
three.
I'm
Dark
going to
pack.
read the last two real
Yeah,
quickly.
go ahead.
We had Fuzzy trying to test out Obsession plus Wrath. He doesn't like it when you play fast. I'm assuming it is a very good build for anybody who just wants to play deeply slowly, as in just more lazily. But Dark Pact, I think, will be better than Corpse Explosion still, so I give it an S+. plus. I don't care. Mosh Pit is F.
Not a
Don't
build.
even Not a build. There you go. Brand proc is, by the way, topic. If you want to talk about Dark Pack, go ahead in a second. Brand proc does not really work. Yes, it'll kill things eventually, but it's super slow. And the BOTD one actually is probably a bit better. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with all that. The only things I wanted to touch because we did talk about it, you had the video where we showed the Act 1 Cold Merc. Very viable. You could use that for P Nova or you could use that for Dark Pack, a lot of stuff. The Act 3
Oh yeah,
Shock one that you're using, I
I
kind of
love
liked
him.
it.
I
The
love him.
only issue I had is that it works for P Nova when you have worse gear, but as you start playing faster and faster, he just doesn't get his ability off as you're telling because if you warp, it's not enough frames for him to actually register and then do his ability because he has to see an enemy
So that's
get his
funny
threat.
because
Yeah,
what's funny is not that, I guess it's just funny because I feel like the Blizzard guy actually cast
Yeah.
Blizzard enough, but maybe that's just me not watching closely.
Yeah, I think it's like, yeah, I think the static can work if you have enough damage and you're not really. I might try it this season if I make, or maybe I'll tell Colby to try it. Like, it doesn't work all the
Tell
time.
Colby to try it.
I know he's gonna play P Nova, so that's why I
Yeah.
suggest it. But I don't know if it happens enough. But maybe maybe it'll do it for all the corpulence, and that's all that matters. Like, it's
Oh,
yeah,
no, no. Speaking of mercs, so yeah, I'm a huge fan of Act 3 Holy Shock because Static Field reduces the health of
yeah,
all mobs. Yes, he has to
yeah.
cast it, but he cast it automatically if there's any mob that doesn't have Static Field on them yet. By the way, Act 2 Merc is probably still best for Dark Pact for anybody who wants to play the game quickly, or an Act 3 Merc. And why you'd run Act 2 is just because Emilio is so good for single target damage. Of course, Act 5 Merc with battle orders is always solid, and some builds I think do run the Act 5 Might Merc.
Yep. I would say so. The only thing I would add is on every build I do, I build an Act 3 cold day one,
Yeah.
and then eventually
They're
switch
really
it out,
good. They are really good. Yeah.
switch it out to something
Wait,
useful
wait,
later.
no, no, no. Say it this time. Come on, Act 1 Fizzmerk is better than Act 3
Yeah,
Coldmerk
I
early on. I'm even going to go Elemental and still run Act 1 Fizzmerk because I believe in them that much.
yeah, like I will link my calculator. I'll bring it up here while we're talking because I don't want to take too much more time. But oh wait,
Yeah.
here we go. This calculator I made, you can go through and edit all. It looks like a lot of nonsense, but it's not that bad, and you will see how crazy damage. I put in the damage I had in beta, and you can see here 11k strength, 7k normal attack, 7k magic arrow. Like it's crazy. That's crazy damage for Merc to be dealing. So yeah, I'll
Um,
link this as well. But
Also, Elemental Charge is definitely not the best mapper unless they fix the charge bug completely because it's just too annoying. And Poison Nova is going to be number one. You wait to see that. And then for the top dungeon build, in case anybody wants to run dungeons, it's mages. There's no way
yeah,
around it. Just use Grimm's Burning Dead. Probably get revives with them just to tank a bit and do curse support. They're just super solid for it. And I think that's it.
yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of it. I was trying to think. Oh, and if you did want to run an elemental paladin, I'm really not memeing, but Holy Shock Bear is like the best. Just
Mm.
gonna say it,
Yeah.
and it sounds like a meme. You run Act One Merc with for vigor, and you use your hunger and bear stacks and stuff, and you will literally crush. I was clearing maps incredibly fast on beta. If anyone watched my stream, you can get like 36k holy shock damage on 3 frames per attack. Like, you don't need infinity. It's just crazy. But
Mm.
yeah, food for thought.
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
But I guess that's it. We'll cover a bit more of it next time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if there's anything
All
else.
right, Skelly King out, guys. GG.
All right, that's it. Later, boys.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at the Ubers and stuff, and it would just take too long to go
Yeah.
over it all.